Baines, B-A-I-N-E-S.
And Albert, how old are you, sir?
94.
And what was your rank in the service?
Private.
And what branch?
Infantry.
Okay. And how old were you when you joined, sir?
I joined 23.
And how long did you stay in the service?
Until 44. But I was in the military training program when I was 15. I joined the military service training program that they had. I was actually in the field artillery, which went away once for a month each year for training with the regular army. And I was initiated there with the wanted to be a soldier. Wanted to be in the military some way or another then. And it kind of got me wanting to go along. And from then on,
What kind of...
my desire to train to be an aviation cadet, aviation engineer. And the program that I went into in the military was field artillery, and it had a lot to do with mathematics and things like that, so it fit right in with my schooling. And after I completed the basic training for the field artillery when they still had orders, which was quite an experience, and learned how to fire, but a French 75 cannon, but I never fired it. I always watched the other guys fire because we were just trainees and just watchers, more or less, and getting ready. It was quite an experience. And then in 1939, I had graduated from high school. I was joined between two sets of friends. One wanted me to join the Marines with them and my right guard and right tackle in the football team. They wanted to go to the Marines. I was halfway in there. My other friends who got me to join the military training program, civilian military training, they wanted me to go with them. So I followed their lead and tried to be an officer. And in the meantime, I had to find a job to keep my car running. So I got a job at through the school I was going to, the aeronautical school. They got me a job at SKF Industries, ball bearing manufacturers. And they got me a job there so that I could start my life in the manufacturing field. The war started, that was 1939, December 27, 1939. 39, I started with them, and the war started, and I'd been there a year. And they started sending me to different the SKF industry, ball bearing manufacturers, sent me to different schools down there, more different engineering factors, and started training for my use there. And I was an inspector and worked on the bearings for all types of cars and different equipment. And that's where I met my wife, Mildred. She was assembling the Norton bomb sight bearing. She didn't know what it was, and I didn't know what it was. But it was the Norton bomb sight bearing. She was assembling it, I was inspecting it, and my job was to present all the good bearings to the last inspection was reformed when it was being done by blind people. So blind people actually bombed all these people, and everybody thought, hey, these people look wonderful. They were wonderful people that helped train and work with them in the inspection of the bearing chart. I wasn't satisfied. I had to be in the service when the war started. And well, my friends went in, so I talked and got my way, and, all the way up to aviation cadet training program, passed the test and everything else like that. Even had my picture taken when the helmet on and I was ready to fly. But wasn't to be so. The company called me back to do more training people. So I got halfway there into the induction area, and they sent me home and said, "You're gonna go." But I still wasn't satisfied. I said, "Well, I gotta get out of here." So I finally talked my way into putting myself back on the list for the draft. And for the draft, I got my release meeting, and I got released for the going to service. Excuse me.
I'm just going to show you.
I got back. I thought I was going in the Air Force, but unfortunately, they didn't want any more. They didn't need any more pilots. And they needed infantrymen. They said, "Now you're in the infantry." It's the best thing that happened. I learned a lot from the infantry. And I was very happy. I got fully trained. Finished my basic training in the infantry. And, was ready to be shipped overseas. And at one of the programs that they had there, something went wrong with my hearing. I started to get runny ears and couldn't hear properly. And the sergeant from line plugged me up to the sick call. And they put me in a hospital. And that ended my career as in the service. I wasn't determined. I still got through Camp Croft Hospital and got out of there and talked my way then back with my unit that was now in Fort Meade. Once I trained with. I got to Fort Meade. I go to the bulletin board there waiting for them to be shipped overseas for them. See my name on the bulletin board. I've been assigned to advanced infantry training. I got to another camp in Shelby, Mississippi. Nice little camp. Proceeded with the advancement program they had there in the infantry. And then ended up in a hospital again. And this time they said, "We're sending you home, you're now discharged." So they sent me home with a discharge paper and told me what to do. And here I am right now. It's just about the same position I was when I left. Still trying to find out what can I do to help the service people. What can I really do to be a part of what makes America great and what makes the country great, which are ones that serve the people there. And it was a little disappointing because I was hoping to stay in and make it a career. But all dreams come true.
What was your fondest memory in the service?
Fondest memory in my service in the infantry was it's the friendships you made, the friendships, the buddies. They're very close. We became close. And that's what makes a difference in people. They broke my heart when they would come into the hospital and see me there, and well, then they were getting ready to go overseas, and I knew they were going to leave. That was the most heart-rending thing to watch. We kept in touch with one another for quite a while afterwards. Some of them would go home and stop and see, but after they were there, they would all eventually disappear. But that was the one thing is the feeling of belonging. And once you belong, you always belong. And it's the greatest thing. That's why I love the service.
Is that why you joined the American Legion here?
That's why I like the American Legion. The Boy Scout program, very, very active in that. And that was a very cool thing. Started my leadership training, and I started training other leaders, which I think I was really meant to do. I had more fun, I had more experiences. Quite good. Recognition Post is the first one I joined in Philadelphia. But my cousin was in that post, and my brother-in-law was in that post. So that's why I joined there, and that was a big post. That was huge. 211 in Frankfurt. Unfortunately, as all post goes, they sold and a church turned into a church. Now she's a bad omen, so I hope it isn't something wrong. When I came to New Jersey, I joined Post 125. Wonderful post there. People who had many, many years camaraderie. But all good things come to an end, and with that he finished. And now that building's in a church. Oh. Follow me, I know. Don't follow me if you want to go to church.
How long have you been a member of this post?
Since 95. 1995. When it broke up over there, it was another one of those heart-rending situations where you watch each group splinter. But a lot of my friends, one of my friends came here, so I followed him. Andy Carnegie came to our post 125 for a while, and he said, Al, 125 was done, they had too much problem. And they closed, and when they closed, I closed.
What do you like about this post?
Oh, it's wonderful guys. It's a strange thing with the service does. It brings them together and makes you feel that it's hard to understand how much we care for each other. And I found a lot of care.
What would you like to say to young people today who are thinking about joining the service?
Join if your heart tells you to do it. Only if your heart, not your mind. Your mind will change minute to minute. But if your heart says that's what you want to do and got to do it. And that's what I did. I did what my heart said. And go with your heart, and mind will follow. If you follow your mind, watch out. Watch out, you've got somebody there. You got your mind will, it's your taste buds take over sometimes. Or greed. Don't go for them. Never work for money, and never work for vision. They always will come to you. But if you seek either one of them just for money or position, You can neither one. You neither have position, you never have enough, and somebody will always try to get it from you. So you grab it. And if you seek a position, you can never get high enough. And when you're up there, somebody's going to knock you down.
It's great advice.
You got to be in the middle and go with your heart. That's in the middle of your body. So go with that and trust it.
If you could change one thing about the service, what would you change?
Well, how many young people go into it and look at it with the opinion of why you join the service? Because sometimes you get something where you go beat up somebody, just like joining a football team or any other sports where you're going to beat up the other guy. Yes, you're trained to kill and do what is ever necessary to win a battle, but you have a different feeling because you know the other fellow's trying to do the same to you. And my sergeant used to say, "Go the other son of a bitch. If you can't be a little son of a bitch, you better be a little son of a bitch." or he might have killed me. So protect what you have. So that means that I become important to not only to myself, but to all the rest of the members of my squad, members of around here.
You said back in the day you played football. What position did you play?
I played with the Heckerman AA for so many years, and then we played football and sports Pop Warner League. Pop Warner League was football. Our team, the Yamaron Indians were called. They won the Pop Warner division you're in, and some of us were picked to go and try out with somebody called the Yellow Jackets. Anybody know what the Yellow Jackets is?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. That sounds familiar.
That was the Eagles before they were called Eagles.
Oh, wow.
And they had a practice field down in Guinea. And they hopped on that light hard and got down there. And I tried out real hard. I thought I ran good, I thought I kicked good. And I'm still waiting for that call. They need me.
What positions did you play? Multiple positions?
And my favorite position was then catching the ball. And I could also punt and kick. And I was a good drop kicker. Anybody know what the drop kick was?
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
That was the runner on the place kicker. The drop kick was a very important kick.
Do you think your time in sports prepared you at all for your time in the service? By being with groups of guys, relying on each other?
Well, we stayed together. The ones that were in the service. The three fellows that went through military training with they became colonels. They became officers, and I also had a desire to be an officer, but in the sense of, because we always planned together for trips we were going to do, we all like this, and across the country in my old Gillette. And we were cadre, and my right tackle and right guard in the football team, they joined the Marines, and God bless them, both were lost in the Pacific there.
You said you met your wife in the service?
No, I met my wife at SJX. She was a ball bearing assembler, assemble ball bearings.
Okay.
I was supposed to inspect her bearings. I was expecting her.
How long were you married?
74 years now.
Oh, wow.
21 years rather. It's only one.
You're still married?
I think we are.
That's awesome.
Check. She kissed me when I left the room. So, yes, that's, all the credit goes to her. I had no credit. Whatever I am, I owe it to my wife. She made it. Without her, I couldn't do it. I could never have done all the things that we did. And it's amazing what we did. You would write a book and you'd be here forever.
That is amazing. Did you guys have any children?
Yes, 3. Gordon, Mark, and Grigg.
Oh, 3 boys.
Street Scouts.
Did they join the service as well, or any of them?
No, my one son, he made Eagle Scout. My other 2 sons, they were one went to college, and one became a romance for a little while until he found himself. He had to go his way to, but they all are. My heart's desire. Everything rotates around him.
That's awesome. Do you have any other memories about the service?
About the field art story, about not really officially armory, but it was the training. They were transferring it from the horses to mechanizing it. We put tires on the field work over the piece. And then they were having to load their horses to replace the horses with cars. And I really felt bad when I had to let them go. What was the transition? Brought me closer to them too. How they felt. I started to feel that way for the horses too. We had many things. The infantry training. I always looked to some of the leaders, mainly how strong they had to be and how forceful they had to be. And each time I look back on these things, I really learned a lot from the guy that I thought, he must hate me.
Was the food as bad as they say it is back there?
No, it wasn't really bad because I never had the experience that a real soldier would have, and that's face the enemy and see whether or not you really can carry out what you were trained to do. When I had finished my basic training, which when I ended up in a hospital, and they did everything they could to try to straighten me out. At one infantry camp, but that was at Camp Croft. Then when they sent me to Camp Shelby, Mississippi, that's when I became also an experiment for penicillin. They had tried out all the medicines and they said, we have plenty else we can help you, but we're going to put you in a program for penicillin. I said, what's that? He said, the nurse told me, I said, she smiled. She said, oh, what do they want to do? Come here. Bend over. So for a few weeks, we were given talk. So finally they gave up and said, I can't agree. And then go home and so forth.
Do you have any funny stories that happened to you during basic training?
What's that?
Any stories that happened to you during basic training? Funny stories?
I missed something that I was looking forward to whether I now was the real man if I faced the enemy. I always question myself for that. I don't know. I've been trained in all the things that they were supposed to do as an infantryman. I would have done it. I would have done it. Because that guy in back of me going to kick the devil out of me. I didn't. I learned to follow. If you learn to follow, you can lead. You can't lead if you never learn to follow.
Can you show us how to salute? Because I was never in the service. Awesome, thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything else you want to say?
The combination of scouting and the service, I've had and a wife that really made it possible. A fabulous life. I wouldn't have missed another minute of it or do it all over again.
Great.
It is the same wife and son and the boys and the family as well.
That's awesome.
Family's with it.
Great. Thank you, sir.